Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can import and export data between Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets. So here I've loaded Apple's stock price for the past, or for 2020 and 2021. And the one problem if I were to import this data into Google Sheets right now is Google Sheets does not have this stock history function. And so it would result in an error. So what I'm going to do is take these values and convert them into values so they're not containing any formulas and there's no array. Now I'm going to delete this, and now you'll see now there's no formula in here. These are just values. So I can save this file, and now what I'm going to do is in Google Sheets there's an option, go to File and select Import. I'm going to go into the Upload tab and select that file. And now it's going to upload it into here. And I can select either to replace a spreadsheet, insert a new sheet, or create a new spreadsheet. So I'm just going to select the default, replace a spreadsheet. Hit import data. And now Google Sheets has loaded my data in here. The one thing a bit odd is that it hasn't recognized the date values properly, but I can fix that just by going to the format menu and selecting number and switching it to date. And so now I've got my date values. So just like that, really easy importing data into Google Sheets from Excel. Now let's use Google Sheets' own Google Finance function to pull some more stock prices and pull that into Excel. So instead of Apple, I'm going to use Amazon, get the price, and then the start date again. So let's do January 1, 2020. And so it gives me that range. And I can actually specify an end date so I can do the same period. So let's do 12/31/2021. And so there. Now I've got Excel's stock history function side by side with Google Sheets' Google Finance function. So side by side. So I'm going to name this spreadsheet Google stock price. And so I've got that saved, and what I can do now is share this file so that it's accessible in Excel. To do that, I'll go back to the File menu and select Share, and I'm going to select Publish to Web. So I'm going to use the entire document, and it gives me an option of web page, comma, separated values. And you could actually do it as an Excel file, but I'm going to load it in through Power Query. So I'm going to use comma separated values here. Hit publish, hit OK. And now I've got my link. Control C to copy. So I'm going to copy that link. Back into Excel I go. And now I'm going to create a new sheet here. And under data, I'm going to select from web, even though I've got a CSV value in here. And now what this is going to do is allow me to use that link that I created from Google Sheets, paste it into here, and now if I hit OK, the Power Query is going to run and try to pull in that data from Google Sheets. And there you have it. We've got the data in there, the data that I imported into Google Sheets from Excel, as well as the data that generated from Google Sheets as well. So I can load this. If I want to make any transformations, as you might normally do in Power Query, you can, but I can just load this, and now it'll update in here. So one of the advantages that you can see here is even though this was used using Google Sheets' Google Finance function, that does not impact the ability to import that into Excel. So it's a lot easier to pull data in this sense from Google Sheets into Excel, just because you can use Power Query. And so we could make changes on the Google Sheets page, and they'll be reflected here. Because this is pulling in through Power Query, we can just do a refresh of the data and it'll load it. Now the one thing I've noticed in the past is sometimes there can be a bit of a lag. Could be a few minutes, could be up to 5 minutes, I want to say. But if you make changes on the Google Sheets page, and then do a refresh, it might not necessarily be automatic. There may be a little bit of a lag, so that's just one thing to watch for. But the good thing about using Power Query in this sense is that we can extract that data from the Google Sheets file. All we need is to just share it as a public file. Because it's in a CSV format, it's really easy to load that in there. We don't have to do any manipulation with the tables. It's just a matter if you want to change any of the headers or do anything in here. But just like that, we've pulled the data in from Google Sheets really easily. So as you can see, it's really easy depending on whichever way you want to move the data back and forth. But because of the Power Query capabilities in Google, not in Google Sheets, but in Excel, it makes a lot more sense to have your data in Google Sheets and pulling it into Excel, as opposed to having the opposite, where you're having the data in Excel and then having to upload it each time to Google Sheets. But obviously you have the flexibility for either option.